भाई कमाल का दिन रहा ये एज फार एज द इंडियन टेस्ट टीम इज कंसर्न्ड. एक तरफ से हम देख रहे थे कि इंग्लैंड विल पुट अप अ टफ फाइट बट एन एक्स्ट्रॉर्डनरी बॉलिंग एफर्ट, 8 विकेट्स, वेल अहेड द इंडियन टीम. जयसवाल विद 100, एवरीथिंग गोइंग वेल एक्सेप्ट फॉर सम अनफॉर्चुनेट न्यूज़ जो कल रात को हमें मिला. बट वी विश द आर अश्विन फैमिली द वेरी बेस्ट एंड होप दैट whatever circumstances have taken him away midway through the test is improved. पर ये है FTB Live, बहुत कुछ है भाई डिस्कस करने को और enjoy करने को. तो my two partners in crime are present, Nagaraj Golapudi and Rohan Deshmukh, who will have plenty to uncover as we start today. But what a wonderful turnaround. Rohan, you rightly pointed out yesterday हमारे शो पे कि बहुत सारे रन अब भी बाकी है. हमें लगा अगर बेन डकेट खेलते जाएंगे और इंग्लैंड इसी अंदाज में खेलते जाएंगे then maybe England could be ahead today. But it looks like this is very much India's test.
लुक्स लाइक वेरी मच इंडियाज टेस्ट एंड द वे जिस तरह से बल्लेबाजी की है अब तक भारत ने, खासकर यशस्वी जायसवाल ने और शुभमन गिल ने. अनफॉर्चुनेट वे द वे रजत पाटीदार ऑल्सो गॉट आउट. लेकिन वन बिग न्यूज़ दैट केम आउट लेट लास्ट नाइट ना आर अश्विन को लेकर, और सुबह से ही जब से मैं उठाऊँ तब से ये पढ़ रहा था कि देयर इज कुड बी अ पॉसिबिलिटी that there could be a replacement player. लेकिन obviously rules change हो गए थे December 2023 से जो है rules change हुए हैं. So there is no question of a replacement player that comes in. That can happen only right at the start, but not in this case. MCC rules also mention a lot of things कि अभी अश्विन नहीं है और if a player actually goes out तो किस तरह से जो है वो वापस आ सकता है. काफ़ी these are the regulation rules in terms of penalty time पूरा करके वापस आओ. And there are various sections under these rules. Lekin there is one more rule, interestingly, this is the 24.2 section of the MCC rules, and some of this is also into your BCCI playing conditions, जो कि जिसके तहत which are effectively WTC playing conditions for this cycle, जिसके तहत जो है matches खेले जा रहे हैं. There is one more section after this which is 24.3 that talks about the penalty time, क्योंकि इसमें आपने सारा पढ़ा रहेगा कि काफ़ी penalty time है जो खिलाड़ी को गुजारना पड़ता है before he can bat or he can bowl. And this is something which Nagaraj and Ronak, we are all aware of and we've been repeatedly seeing. But 24.3.2 एक रूल है which talks about penalty time, जिसके बारे में दिनेश कार्तिक ने भी जिक्र किया था. और उन्होंने कहा था कि आर अश्विन जो है जब वापस आएंगे, अगर आते हैं और इंडिया अगर बॉलिंग कर रही है तो वो है सीधी तरह से जो है अंपायर का मानना है कि वो आके गेंदबाजी कर सकते हैं और उन्हें ये अनुमति दी गई है. आखिर ये अनुमति क्यों दी गई है? एंड दिस इज व्हेन आई कम बैक टू द नेक्स्ट सेक्शन ऑफ द MCC प्लेइंग 11 MCC लॉज और द BCCI प्लेइंग कंडीशंस फॉर दिस टेस्ट सीरीज व्हिच इज द 24.3.2, जहां पे ये कहा गया है कि अंपायर्स के ओपिनियन में अगर प्लेयर एब्सेंट है, फील्ड के बाहर निकल गया है एंड फॉर होली एक्सेप्टेबल रीजंस which does not include illness or an internal injury, which is the case of R Ashwin. So it's very clear that if R Ashwin agar wapas jab bhi aate hain, then he can basically take the ball if India is bowling. Right, Nagaraj?
बिल्कुल. Yeah, Nagaraj, yeah, we're just having a look at the playing conditions और हमारा काम है भाई आपको सारी जानकारी देना. ये है MCC के नियम. साथ ही जो नियम इस इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट टेस्ट श्रृंखला को गवर्न करते हैं वो है ICC के वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप के प्लेइंग कंडीशंस, जहाँ 2 हिस्सों में आप इन नियमों को पढ़ सकते हैं. सबसे पहला कि एज अ रिप्लेसमेंट बिफोर द स्टार्ट ऑफ प्ले, जहाँ प्रोविजन एक होता है जब अपोजिंग कैप्टन की अनुमति आप मांग सकते हो और फिर एक रिप्लेसमेंट कर सकते हो. लेकिन as we understand it, there is no provision for changing a player except for a substitute fielder, for changing a player as a batter or bowler midway through a match outside of during the test match during the start of play. So that is not an option. And there is the only exception is for concussion substitutes और जो पिछले साइकिल में रहा था for COVID substitutes, and that was a law that was removed. तो रोहन तो इसके साथ उठे थे which most of the country was. नागराज तो कल रात को सोए ही नहीं क्योंकि ये देर रात तक इसी मैटर को इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहे थे. हमारी काफ़ी बहस भी हो रही थी रोहन, मैं आपको बता दूं, नागराज की और मेरी, जहाँ नागराज समझ रहे थे कि मैं ICC को पूछूंगा कि क्या इंडियन टीम मांगेंगे रिप्लेसमेंट प्लेयर वगैरह वगैरह. मैंने कहा चांस ही नहीं है ही नहीं प्रोविजन. तो Nagaraj, all yours now. I'll take a break for 10 minutes.
Ronak Kapoor is a lawyer. And the lawyers know how to stoke these things. So I'm not getting drawn into that. What I had to say is internal. I'm not getting onto this. Firstly, let's hope everyone and everything is safe at Ashwin's end.
Yes,
He was so
absolutely.
ecstatic at the end of the first day's play, and he had to dash out. And so, yeah, which was obviously no one had planned this. So, Rohan and you have completely explained the rules, both the MCC laws as well as the WTC playing conditions, which clearly state that a player there cannot be a direct replacement. That's clear. And in Ashwin's case, let's say hypothetically, if we assume that he is ready to come back, he will be able to join at any moment as soon as he comes back, because his exit has been treated under the rules as an exceptional circumstance. Because as Rohan was saying, that the two times when it's treated, which is either exceptional circumstance or I think it's agreed upon there's another rule that whatever it is about, but this is completely exceptional. So yes, so let's hope firstly it's everyone safe, and the rules are very clear now.
Yeah,
There's no
absolutely. Now, just to
speculation.
give our viewers the information, it's as simple as that. जब दो बार आज commentary पे हमने commentators को सुना, Sanjay Manjrekar made the point as well, then Dinesh Karthik, that because of these circumstances, if Ashwin were to want to resume participating in the test, then जो rule होती है कि अगर आप injured हो तो आपको उतनी समय फील्ड पे बितानी पड़ती है जितना आप बाहर थे, and only then can you bowl or bat. That would not be in play. However, if we go by what the BCCI told us last night in the official communication, it's that he's withdrawn from the test and we do not expect him to participate. इससे हमें लगा कि शायद डे 3 पे और भी मुश्किल होगी रोहित शर्मा के लिए to lose one of your strike bowlers on a day where you need your bowling to bundle England out. And what a great story it is, through this adversity, of course, that India, with their main spinner down, have managed to infuse a collapse against England. अगर हम देखें कि सबसे कम रन देकर आखिरी जो 5 विकेट गिरे, काफ़ी बार हम कहते हैं टेस्ट क्रिकेट में इंडिया को द टेल ऑफन वैग्स फॉर द ऑपोजिशन एंड दैट कुड बी द डिफरेंस हार और जीत में, लेकिन केवल 20 रन के लिए आखिरी के 5 विकेट गिरे. मोहम्मद सिराज इसके लिए जिम्मेदार थे, रविंद्र जडेजा जिम्मेदार थे, और कुलदीप यादव के योगदान के बारे में भी बात करनी पड़ेगी, जहाँ बेन डकेट जो सेट थे और डेंजरस थे, और जॉनी बेस्टो ऐसे बल्लेबाजों को उन्होंने क्विक सक्सेशन में निकाला. वी वर डिस्कसिंग इंडिया मिसिंग अ ट्रिक परहैप्स विद देयर टैक्टिक्स, or people missing Virat Kohli, the captain. Today is a day where you have to kind of take it one day at a time. You shouldn't rush to judgment. It just worked wonderfully. It's a story, Nagraj, isn't it, about India's bowlers, where Bumrah hasn't done most of the damage in this innings per se. He's been excellent in the series. Lekin Kuldeep Yadav, Mohammad Siraj, who've not had a lot to do with the ball, have effectively triggered this collapse that puts India in front.
Yeah, as you said, like you start the day with 10. I was wondering, you start the day with just 10 players and one substitute, but only one of your premier bowlers is not going to be available for you, and the guy took a wicket last evening. So clearly, I was wondering how would Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid have slept as soon as they heard the news that Ashwin was aborting the test. How do you replay? I mean, they had to reconvene, right? That Ashwin is the main strike bowler other than Bumrah. So how do you now replay? And everything worked like a clockwork for them, fortunately. And the reason I just felt was that the bowlers, there was a good field set. So it was a simple, basic field set for all the from Duckett to Stokes to everybody else. And more importantly, the bowlers just bowled simply a very disciplined line. I mean, from Kuldeep, I think Kuldeep was probably, for me, yes, Siraj took the four, no doubt about it. But I think Kuldeep really bowled well in that first session, an unbroken spell of something like, I think, a dozen overs he bowled, and he just barely gave any runs away, about 30 odd runs he gave. Yesterday, remember, he bowled 6 overs for 42 runs. He was clueless, but of course, as a wrist spinner, you give that, and then but the mood that Duckett was in, and Kuldeep kind of he was kind of straying his lines. Karthik Krishnaswamy, who was covering the Test match, he worked out that yesterday when Kuldeep was bowling those kind of outside of lines was very, very few. Today, Kuldeep changed that. He kind of attacked him outside off. He didn't. He challenged Duckett to go after him. But more importantly, Kuldeep also imparted a lot of spin, which I think and the ball was spinning. You could see that today off the surface, the ball was spinning, and that's where Duckett kind of was put under pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the day started with 200 and England finished the day at 207 yesterday.
207 for 2
and
in
they got
35
bundled
overs.
out for they got bundled out for 319 or something like that. So which explains the pressure that they were constantly under, and that too they folded under 2 sessions. So it's clearly I think both of you can talk about Siraj now, like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I get the story. The story here is, like we mentioned, that India were without R Ashwin, and Rohit Sharma actually threw the ball to Kuldeep Yadav ahead of Jadeja. Siraj se zyada bowling karwai, Bumrah se kam. We must remember that Bumrah has a lot of workload on him, and whether or not he plays the whole remainder of the series, this augurs so well for India ki Mohammad Siraj is among the wickets. Now Siraj loves bowling with Bumrah. Our good friend Rohan Deshmukh caught up with him as well. So pehle Siraj se sunte hain how he talks about bowling with Jasprit Bumrah.
अगर वो आज रहते तो मतलब वो मेरे साथ ही ट्रैवल करते थे, क्योंकि उनका ड्रीम था कि अपने देश के लिए खेले। और वो पहले तो वो लोग बोलते थे कि टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेले, फिर वो टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेला मैंने, वो भी नहीं देख पाए। तो शायद कहीं ना कहीं से वो मुझे देख रहे और वो ब्लेसिंग दे रहे। 1-1.5 साल से मैंने काफ़ी कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस करते आया, तो वो कॉन्फिडेंट मेरा बहुत ही हाई है। जो मेरा आउट स्विंग है, आउट स्विंग पे मैंने बहुत ही ज़्यादा वर्क किया है, और उस पर मुझे विकेट मिल रहे हैं तो मैं बहुत ही कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ, क्योंकि ओवल स्विंग मेरे पास तो है ही है। तो वो तो विकेट कभी भी मिल सकती है ओवल स्विंग पे, बट जब आउट स्विंग पे विकेट मिलती है तो मेरे को बहुत ही कॉन्फिडेंट मिलता है। जैसी वजह से हमेशा मैं बात करता हूँ कि ये विकेट पे क्या लाइन और लेंथ बेटर रहेगी। और जब मैं स्टार्ट करता हूँ तो मेरा स्टार्टिंग का रहता है कि विकेट जल्द से जल्द अपन देखें कि क्या ये विकेट पे लाइन और लेंथ बेटर रहेगा। तो मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि तभी भी बॉलिंग पार्टनरशिप में करेंगे तो तभी विकेट मिल सकती है। अगर जैसी भाई की तरफ से डॉट बॉल आ रहा है तो मैं थोड़ा ट्राई कर सकता हूँ, विकेट के लिए जा सकता हूँ। अगर मैं डॉट बॉल डाल रहा तो जैसी भाई अदर एंड से विकेट ले सकते हैं।
वही जो दिल को खुश करने वाली जो कहानियाँ होती है हमारे खेल में, वो अक्सर हमारे देश से ही निकलती है। एंड मोहम्मद सिराज उभरते हुए सितारे तो है ही, लेकिन अब अचानक से एक सीनियर गेंदबाज बन चुके हैं टेस्ट क्रिकेट में। इनके अभी अब 4 विकेट से ज़्यादा हॉल हो चुके हैं टेस्ट मैचेस में। दैट वाज हिज फर्स्ट इन इंडिया, सो हिज बेस्ट bowling figures रोहन, एंड ही इज़ एन इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर इज़न्ट ही। मोहम्मद शमी अब फिलहाल अभी भी इंजर्ड है। बुमराह के बारे में पता नहीं अगर वो पाँचों के पाँचों टेस्ट खेले ना खेले विद अ बिग सीजन कमिंग अप, बट इट्स नाइस टू सी मोहम्मद सिराज ग्रो इनटू अ लीडिंग रोल इन विद द bowling today after he's had a quiet first test.
I'll come to सिराज, लेकिन उससे पहले आप दोनों बात कर रहे थे ना जिस तरह से इंडिया ने विकेट्स निकाले आज। वी सॉ दैट ग्राफिक राइट ऑफ 20 रन्स में जो है लास्ट के 5 जो विकेट्स निकाले। द entire list of graphics which if you look at it 22 and 23, this is the last few test matches which is played in India. The wicket conditions of today, आज का जो पिच था और जो उसके पहले के जितने भी मैचेस हुए, ऑस्ट्रेलिया के खिलाफ एक तो मैच हम हार भी गए थे, कोलैप्स कराने के बाद इंडिया हार भी गई थी, लेकिन आज का जिस तरह से विकेट था, this has to be something which must be really making the team management proud. And as you mentioned about Ashwin not being there, Bumrah obviously starting it, जिस तरह से जो रूट आउट हुए, caught in slips, and if you actually look at it कि स्कोर अपने मैच नहीं देखा है, आप जाके देखेंगे स्कोर बोर्ड पे, caught at slips, everyone was expecting कि आउटसाइड एज लग के जो रूट आउट हुए, लेकिन we all know how जो रूट got out, and there's a lot of debate also कि जो रूट को उस तरह से खेलना चाहिए नहीं खेलना चाहिए. That sort of triggered everything that happened in the morning session. But Siraj, coming back to him, there is one more thing that Siraj mentioned in that interview, and I've heard from him also, कि किस तरह से वो जसप्रीत बुमराह से चीज़ें सीखते हैं, कि he feels that बुमराह is someone, जब वो गेंदबाजी करते हैं ना, तो जल्द से जल्द जो है वो लाइन और लेंथ क्या होनी चाहिए उस विकेट पे, उसको पकड़ लेते हैं. एंड दिस इज समथिंग विच सिराज हैज़ बीन रेगुलरली मेंशनिंग, कि हर बार वो जाके पूछते हैं कि इस विकेट पे क्या लेंथ होनी चाहिए. ये हमने वर्ल्ड कप में भी देखा था, हालांकि वाइट बॉल क्रिकेट है, लेकिन these are the little learnings that he keeps on taking from Bumrah, especially after every over that is being bowled, कि किस तरह से कहाँ पर जो है गेंदबाजी करनी चाहिए. The camaraderie between this, we talk about Shami Bumrah partnership, the Bumrah Siraj partnership is also something in the few years to come is what we have to really look out for.
ऑलराइट, बहुत ही अच्छी पॉइंट आपने निकाली रोहन कि ये फ्लैट पिच है, जो एक ओल्ड स्कूल टेस्ट क्रिकेट पिच हम देखते to work hard for your wickets, especially if you are a fast bowler. चलिए मैच की जो करंट पोजीशन है उसे हम आपको याद दिला दें कि सिराज, कुलदीप, जाडेजा, बुमराह की बतौर और फिर ये जो कोलैप्स आज हमने देखा तीसरे दिन पे, ऑन द फर्स्ट 2 days विकेट टेकिंग वाज वेरी हार्ड एंड वी सॉ द बैटर्स एंजॉयिंग देमसेल्व्स, रोहित शर्मा एंड जाडेजा ऑन डे 1, सरफराज एज वेल, फिर बेन डकेट ऑन डे 2, एंड नाउ वी हैव सीन इंडियाज bowlers be the story or the highlight on day 3. और इसी के साथ let's just try and look ahead. It's important for India's batters though after that collapse to not have a collapse of their own. कभी कभी दबाव उल्टा पड़ जाता है कि भाई फ्लैट विकेट है तो हमें तो रन बनाने ही है, लेकिन you never know, especially when the this England team comes really hard at you. But well done to Yashasvi Jaiswal. अब 3 टेस्ट 100 हो चुके हैं उनके. This is the first in the second innings of a test. He's leading the run scoring charts in the series. He's a genuine contender for player of the series of one of the most high profile series in India in recent times. So let's just have a look at where the game stands. And Nagraj, the Jaiswal story continues to just get better and better. I mean, everyone including Shubman Gill or Shreyas Iyer or KL Rahul, अब भी उनके selection पे काफ़ी सवाल उठते हैं. People are divided, but the Jaiswal story just gets stronger and stronger with another excellent 100 today.
Yeah, he keeps kind of showing why the likes of Dravid and the selectors believe that this is not just the future, but this is the guy who can play all 3 formats and can has the ability to calibrate as per the needs and the expectations as well as the match situation. Today the match situation, as you rightly put it, was like he saw in the morning that how England gave away a commanding position, but at the same time it was not just barring the Joe Root stroke, you could say the rest of the wickets were earned by India's bowlers. But at the same, so even if the pitch was on the slower and the slightly flatter side, there was spin in the pitch, there was clearly spin in the pitch, and the ball was reversing. So, and also Anderson has got him more than at least two or three times now this so far in this series. In the second innings he had got that double century, but since then there were 2 innings where Anderson kind of worked upon him, and Jaiswal was falling in that trap, and today he did not. Today he kind of there are 2 halves to his innings, and the numbers will tell you that is like the first half century he kind of waited patiently, he kind of bided his time. Earlier he had Rohit, and when Rohit got out to an erroneous stroke, he saw a senior player kind of, I think Rohit misread the line, and when he went for that sweep and paid that price against Hartley against round the wicket, but Jaiswal didn't do any of those he didn't kind of go for any sort of, to use Ashwin's words yesterday, airy fairy strokes. He waited, and then once he was there, he brought up his 50 with that 6, and then he launched another consecutive 6s, and then his next 50 came in like it was a rapid fire, like he was just like enjoying his stroke play. He just unfurled all the kind of things, including reverse, including I think the camera panned on Rahul Dravid, wondering what the hell is he doing, is he like, but he just showed that, I think he was telling England, look, this is what you could have had fun like me. Now you are the ones running after hell for leather. I'm sending the ball here and there. Go pick it up. So it is understanding of the match situation is incredible. Like he is again is what all you said, that he is the leading run maker. At that age too, and he for also like he. Luckily, he also had a youngster in Gill around at the other end, who was in fact, he's under pressure. You just started off the question, like he's under pressure. There are still question marks.
Absolutely.
Despite scoring a century in Vizag, he's still yet to convince some of his critics, because especially his technique and bottom hand, etc. But both of them showed that we're going to there is nothing in the pitch as such. If we can read the lengths, if we can kind of ensure that we don't kind of play the wrong stroke, we can kind of make runs here. And
I think that was a really good innings, because you saw different gears on full display. एक समय पे I think 50 या 60 गेंदों में सिर्फ उनके 20 रन बने थे, and then he just went berserk. And yes, I don't want any jazz ball jokes from any of you. Okay, that's done. So don't repeat it. लेकिन सवाल सबके मन में ये है कि अब
no jazz ball jokes.
No jazz ball.
But you know, Kevin Peterson has in fact tweeted just now, saying that Jaiswal can get hundreds everywhere, and I think he'll be a great of the game one day. And he's also
Yeah.
said that I don't see a single weakness in Jaiswal's game in Indian conditions. Greatest challenge obviously will be scoring runs.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he looked good even for the short innings he played in South Africa. He didn't get a big score, and we shouldn't judge so soon. Those pitches were really tough. Lekin Australia ka daura hone ja raha hai. That's going to be on Star at the end of the year, and we're going to see him tour England at some point. But I think the question for the immediate future on the fans' minds is कि भाई अब 322 से आगे है इंडियन टीम, तो किस तरह की टारगेट कितने रन चाहिए होंगे to get a result in this game. Now you have to take a few things into consideration. Jaiswal retired hurt होके अंदर चले गए थे. We hope it's not too serious. But if they don't want to risk him being so far ahead and he doesn't bat, you already don't have R Ashwin. So you can add a couple of wickets to that and then try and calculate कि will India just keep batting until they're bowled out? Will they play aggressively like how Sarfaraz Khan did? And there's still a lot of time in this game. इस इंग्लैंड टीम की जो रेपुटेशन है कि अगर 100 ओवर उनको अगर आपने दे दिए, क्योंकि आपको 100 ओवर चाहिए 10 विकेट निकालने में, तो 100 ओवर में with the way they play, if the batters come off and if the pitch is still good, they could get 4.5, 5 and over. So how much is truly enough? Do India need 500 plus? Will they say nope, we don't care about this England team, we get another 120, 130 tomorrow and we put them in? So let me get a word in from Rohan and Nagaraj on what you think is likely to happen tomorrow and how much is enough. Rohan?
I think 150 more, but it's a very interesting thing which you brought up. 322 runs का lead है, and it's a question in everyone's mind who is watching कि how much is enough, and this question was never coming to our minds till England actually came to India and started playing the way they are saying they have been playing. तो ये एक अच्छा basically question mark आ गया, the kind of positivity in terms of how रन स्कोरिंग इज डन बाय इंग्लैंड, और जिस तरह से रन स्कोर कर रहे हैं, तो एक 322 इज ऑल्सो गुड टारगेट मैन. I mean, it's a substantial kind of score in the bucket for India for fourth innings. So I think I think India is in a very safe position. Honestly, that's fine. A little more 80 runs is also fine.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. ये जो opposition की सोच पे इन्होंने वार किया है with this kind of performance, it's the Indian team also knowing that ideally we would have got 50-60 more and given our bowlers enough time, because only one result was then possible, which is us winning. But here it's different, right? You are wondering, and then the Ashwin factor comes in. Yes, you manage one innings without him, but you have to do it all over again without Ravichandran Ashwin. So it's testament to England's success, but realistically, Nagaraj, 400, 450, 500, or are you as confident as Rohan 322 is enough? They could even declare overnight.
Rohan Deshmukh though, like he is very confident this time, but I'm not sure. Like I think the main thing is how much time is left. You're not going to give England 100 plus overs. You don't want to, so you have to bat closer to T. So and make whatever runs I would say closer to T, and then you have enough time to kind of, also the pitch, though it's flatter, it's getting, the bounce is getting lower and the turn is there already. Absolutely. And then this is the first time actually I feel the way already England's media has started questioning Joe Root's talk. So the pressure will be on England. They might not be reading some media or something, but we know Stokes reads the media. He might not be reading during the test, but there are questions raised as to, there's one senior writer in the Telegraph, he's written that Joe Root's stroke, where should we rank? It might take the top rank in the roll call of silliest strokes played.
Wow.
The most silly. Wow. And this is a very senior writer
that is Joe
who's
Root,
actually
one of their
seen,
greatest batters ever.
I mean, he's seen like 200 test matches. He's like watched 50, and he's actually a very this. So there is so much that according to them, that stroke changed. On that stroke is England's, like the series is completely was hanging on that, and that error might cost England not just this match but the series. So the England will be under pressure. For once, India are like behaving as if like even if the match is not yet in their favor, this is their match to lose. They will think now. And India have done that. They have lost in the first innings also, we were talking, and right through the first two matches. The runs that they needed to make, they did not make. So they don't want to make that mistake again, because if you make only 100 more runs and you give England 1.5 days to play 3+ sessions, They will think that they will want to go for it. So what is entertaining, what will be very good is whatever the target is set, you would expect England to go for that. Let it be 500, let it be 450, you would expect England, because this
100%.
England wants to play not for a draw. So that will be entertaining. So let's hope that, what's in store we don't know, but it will hopefully.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of time in the test match still, and it's a really important test match as well, poised at 1-1. So any collapse from India tomorrow, if you give England a chance, they'll take it, and that changes the dynamic for the rest of the series. But let's wait and watch. Nagaraj, I don't have any time for you writers who say all these things about these great players, but I have time for you. Thank you very much. Nagaraj Golapudi, Senior Journalist, Cricinfo, and Rohan Deshmukh. फिर हाजिर होंगे हम FTV Live में to give you the very latest from the Indian team and what's happening in Indian cricket. कल शाम को 5 बजे होगी फिर मुलाकात. Bye bye.